Reverend Irene Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to Generationally Speaking. I am the Bible study teacher. Join me each week at the table as we sit with Gen X's, Gen Y's, and Gen Z's, and Boomers, and everybody else as we discuss life issues that we all face, no matter the age, with the Bible as the final answer. I am always excited to have my co-host. Today I have Pastor Shamika Latte Oliver. Her mantra is finding the best you. She is always about her business of building women, and I'm always excited to hear her. Uh, she is the founder of Women who Connect, and so I'm excited about that. Pastor Shamika, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Yeah, well, the organization is called Women Who Lead Connect, and it's really it's from my own personal story of just really wanting to help build women in their business and personal brand, so that if she's leading at the top, she is not leading by herself, and we're helping her to build her bridge in that area. And I really started it because that's what I needed as a young woman. I searched for mentorship. I searched for people to, help me in this business area. And it was difficult because sometimes some people just barely get you over the hump. And I said, you know what? I am going to be the woman that I needed to help the next woman be the woman she wanted to be. And so I did it over the years. And now we have a full-fledged membership. Women are getting opportunities, and I'm just super excited about it. And guess what? At the end of the day, with everything that we do, it is for God's glory. Right. So that's what I always preach, teach, and facilitate.
All right, Women Who Lead Connect. I am a part of that organization. She has over 700 women now who are part of that. And our guest today is Temprest Perry, and that's how I found out and learned about Temprest and her narrative. I know some of you are asking, where is Minister Durham? Well, Minister Durham is doing his civic duty today, above and beyond. He is driving senior citizens to the polls so that they can vote. So that's why he's not with us today. He'll be back with us on the next time. Within the next several weeks, he's going to be busy for the next few weeks with that. Of course, you know that he is a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I wish he was here today so I could talk to him about the Washington football team beating his team, but he's not here today. But so I'm just gonna say it anyway. Durham, we whipped y'all pretty good yesterday. Well, like I said, I want to welcome Temprest Perry. Temprest's journey, she is indeed a testimony of being an overcomer. She is indeed a testimony of being victorious. She is indeed a testimony that you can live, you can survive, and you can thrive, and you don't have to be given the stigma of being a sexual abuse and domestic violence victim. She's not a victim. She doesn't wear that title. She's not a victim. And so we're excited to have her on today. I've read Temprest closes out her thoughts on letterhead and emails with this quote from Bob Proctor. And it says, a mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you. I thought that was awesome. So Temprest Perry, let me just say welcome. Hi, Temprest.
Hi.
It's so good to see you. Temprest, Proverbs 22:6, and Pastor Shamika tells us that parents' responsibility is to raise up a child in the way they should go. But what happens when the parent is not able? When the parent has their own issues and the children have come and they're not prepared to really be parents. So today, Temprest, I'd like for you to introduce yourself to our audience by telling us a little bit about your formative years.
Hi, my name is Temprest Perry. I am originally from Wichita Falls, Texas. I was born and raised there until the age of 6. I am the only child.
Wow.
Yes, I'm the only child. At the time when I was younger, both of my parents were together at the time. They, you know, they indulged in drug use.
Hmm.
As I was a child, they indulged in drug use, which caused me to miss out on a lot of things as a child, which I would say kept me in survival mode a lot. Um,
Temperance, before you go any further, let's talk a little bit about that for parents and for young people who may be looking on, who may find themselves in that very place where their parents are addicted to some type of drug. So as a young child, because as children, you come up in an environment and you don't know that the environment is dysfunctional because that's where you that's your living and that's what you know.
right.
So as early as I guess maybe 5 or 6 years old, you know that my parents might do a little more than some parents.
Hmm. Yes, because the household was very dysfunctional. I
Hmm.
don't even think I realized that they were using drugs, at the time. I found that out maybe a little later, that they were using drugs, but I didn't know. And there used to be drug paraphernalia laying around, and I still didn't know. As a kid, I didn't know what it was. I
It
just
was
looked at.
normal.
Yeah, it was very normal. It was
Hmm.
very normal. And when I would ask about it, oh, that's nothing, don't worry about that. Let me have that. You know, um, there wasn't any truth being told on what it was. So it was very normal. So it was just a lot of dysfunctional. It was very dysfunctional in my household, fighting and arguing and cursing and partying and just you name it, I'm pretty sure it went on.
So when you went to school, I mean, sometimes we grow up in our households and we don't recognize they're dysfunctional till we go to somebody else's house or we start to talk to other people that we realize, ah, you know, maybe my parents are, party a little bit more than other parents. Or maybe, people really sit down and have meals together and a little different. So as a child, when was it fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade that you begin to understand a little bit more about your household?
Well, I understood more when I went to go live with my aunt, who is my mom's sister.
Hmm.
She actually raised me for the remainder of, my years of, life for until I was 18. She raised me until I was 18. So I would say I learned from there. But, when I was 6 years old, we moved to a little small town called Paducah, Texas.
Hmm.
And it was absolutely nothing there. But that's when I started to realize this is how family is supposed to be because we never had food to eat. The icebox was always empty. My mom was in another relationship with another man, and he was abusive. Um, so I just thought that was life until, we lived in a duplex community. And these people just out the blue invited me into their home with their kids because I used to play with their kids. And, that was when I got to see this is how family is supposed to be. They used to sit down and eat. The mom was like, she was a very good caretaker. She always made sure their homework was done. She would always make sure that they had a bath. She always made sure that they ate at the table as a family. She would assign them tasks to do. I don't remember the little girl's name, but she would always get to feed the fish, and that was a little girl that I used to play with. And her job was to feed the fish. So that was when I started to see, like, this is not normal. Like, everybody's not living like this. And, and even with I had another aunt on my mom's side, when I used to go over her house, it was nothing like that either. But I don't think I paid it any mind much because I was always scolded when I went over there. So it was always, you're bad, you're breaking stuff, you need to go home, or stuff like that. So I don't think I really realized that it wasn't dysfunctional over there, because I think I always thought about how I was getting scolded all the time, about, at a young age, to me, what felt like everything. So I don't think I realized that everything was different, when we moved to Paducah and I got to see, how they lived.
How old were you then when you moved to Paducah?
I was 6.
Oh,
I
you
was
were
6.
6. Okay, so from 6 on, and then at what age did you go and live with your aunt?
I was 6 and I turned 7.
So what brought that about?
Honestly, I think I've dealt with so much trauma that I can't remember
Mm.
much. I have suppressed a lot of things. And I asked, but I keep getting different stories. Like, I asked my mom and I asked my aunt, and it's completely two different stories from what I've gathered. I remember being at a family gathering, which at the time I thought was a family reunion, but I don't remember. I think it was a birthday party, I don't remember who it was for, but it was a birthday party for the family members. And they said, I was going around saying, do you know I flunked the first grade? Do you know I flunked the first grade? And, and my aunt who raised me was like, she felt like that was a cry for help for me. But honestly, I don't remember. Then you have my mom who says that I was just taken from her. So, I mean, honestly, we'll never know.
So when you went to live with your aunt,
Hmm.
for and redoing first grade again, and during those years from first grade through your graduation, did you interact much with your mom or your biological father?
No, my dad was actually sent to the penitentiary, and my mom was just doing her own thing for a while. So I didn't get reunited back with them until I was about 13. So
That you started to have a relationship with them, but not move back with them
yes,
again.
no, not move back, just
Mhm.
a relationship with them.
And how difficult was that for you as a teenager?
I don't think I thought of it as difficult,
Hmm.
honestly. I think I was just so excited to be back a part of their lives that I didn't look at it as difficult. I think I looked at it as, we're going to make it work. I knew that I didn't want to live with them or stay with them or anything like that, but I knew I wanted a relationship with them, whether it be coming to me cheering or volleyball or basketball, because I was in everything, ballet recitals. So I knew that I wanted them a part of that. I didn't necessarily want to live with them, but I did want them a part of my life and, the things that I had going on.
So your
I
aunt,
have a question.
yes.
It seems as if, as I'm listening to your story, that your heart towards the people in your life was like very genuine. Like you have this innate forgiveness about yourself. You have something like that you were just born with, to just love. And whatever felt like love, you
Mm.
went with it. And so it was bad, but it wasn't so bad. You learned
Yeah.
how, just being a survivor, you just learned
Mhm.
whatever situation that you were in, I'm gonna survive. So how was it? What did you feel towards your mom though? Because it was easy for you to see her again at 13, from 6 to 13. So
Hmm.
just growing up, with her, what was it that you felt about her that was always so forgiving in
Mhm.
your heart with everything you experienced?
I think it was just her being my mom.
Mhm.
And I don't think I ever held any grudges toward them.
Mhm.
I didn't understand the situation or what they were going through, but that was still my mom. That was still my dad. There wasn't any hard feelings. I don't even remember that I questioned why. I don't even remember questioning why. So, I think it was just them being my parents and me just loving them and just me being happy that they were able to finally be back a part of my life. So,
Yeah, that sounds, I mean, I hear Pastor Shamik, and you do hear that genuineness of forgiveness that she has,
Yeah.
and the parents coming back and like, okay, like any teen or any child would be happy to see their parent, you know, being a part of their life. And it sounds like your aunt really got you in a lot of things, you know.
she did.
So then tell us then about this other portion of your life. Then what age were you when things took a slippery slope on another way?
Which part?
Uh, when you said that you believe that you were a victim of sexual assault.
Yes, I was very young. I want to say that started off at the age of 3 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, it was actually my cousin on my mom's side, so it's her sister's daughter. And with my parents being, addicted to drugs at the time, they were very irresponsible. They would let me stay pretty much with anybody, just to do what they wanted to do, whatever they felt like doing. So you never would think that the place of abuse would come from within the family, but that's where it took place, with my cousin. And I vaguely remember things because I know she's because I'm 34, so she's about 9-10 years older than me. So she was probably about 12, 13 at that age, but she didn't look her age. She actually looked older. She's tall and she just looked older. So I do remember her being sexually active at that age because she used to have boys come over and they would do certain things, but before she would do something with them, she would mess with me, and then she would mess with them. So, and yeah,
so how long did that continue?
that continued. I was 3, so I'll say the last time I remember was about 5 or 6
Hmm.
years of age.
Yeah.
Um,
And that was from not the aunt who started to raise you, but this was from your mom's other sister.
yes, so this is my mom's other sister. Yes, and that's where that started taking place, was when I was going over to her house. And that's the one I was saying, even though everything seemed very functional and not dysfunctional, like being at my parents' house, I would always get scolded so bad when I used to go over there about everything.
So
Yeah.
did you ever feel open enough to say,
Hmm.
because they were scolding you, did you feel like, hey, I might get in trouble if I let
Hmm.
them know what she's doing? So do you think that kind of shut your voice, or you never thought to even talk to them? Did you ever think that they would say it's your fault or not believe you or something like that?
Yeah, with the way that they scolded me, I probably wouldn't have spoke up. I mean, I didn't speak up. And honestly, I didn't speak up because at the time I did not know it was wrong. I didn't know
Hmm.
what she was doing to me was not right.
Hmm.
And that it was, inappropriate. I didn't know. And if I did know, would I have spoke up? I probably wouldn't have, because like I don't think they would have believed me. And if they did, I feel like it would have been something that would have been swept under the rug.
So
So
at what age did you realize that what happened to you was wrong?
I actually realized that when I moved with my aunt. So my mom's other sister, my aunt who raised me, that's when I started realizing, because she always would teach me things,
Hmm.
inappropriate
Hmm.
touches, appropriate touches, don't sit in men's lap, don't sit in
Hmm.
women's lap. Um, she would always just be teaching me everything. If someone touches you, you speak up. you tell them stop, and you tell me. And she would always say, I don't care if they threaten to kill me. I don't care if they threaten to kill your family. They were like, I don't care. She said, I don't care if they threaten to kill you. You tell. You tell. And that was something that she always instilled in me. And that's when I realized, oh, she wasn't supposed to be doing that. Like, you know, the things that she was doing, she wasn't supposed to do it. And once again, I held no ill will towards her.
So you did tell your aunt, though? You didn't tell her?
No.
The aunt that you live with?
I told her once I became grown and started speaking about it. I did tell her then, but as a child, I still didn't tell because, you know, I don't know. I think it was like a loyalty thing, and I just didn't want to get my cousin in trouble. And, you know, I wasn't sure, you know, I wasn't sure if they would believe me or, you know, she's just making up stuff or things like that. But, you know, I didn't tell.
Yeah.
I think that's probably indicative of many victims. Pastor Shamika, you had something you wanted to say?
I think it's when I was just like you were about to say, but I was just looking at Temprest, you know, story from even growing up and communication when we fail to teach our children how to communicate. And I think sometimes that's where it starts. And we can't blame the child. Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you? Well, as a parent, like you said earlier, the Bible says for us to train a child up in the way that they should go, you know, so that they won't depart from it. And so if she had no proper training to know how to communicate, to know how to express her feelings, what she learned to do is always suppress her feelings. And it's just like, oh, okay, but she had this innate gift of forgiving easily. So every time something would happen, it's forgiving. You know, when her mother maybe wasn't there as younger, or it's just like, I forgave as long as I have you, as long as I have someone. So, and I guess as parents and as adults, we have to pay attention to those signs. And maybe that's something that your aunt did for you. She was paying attention, but if you're not saying anything, I'm going to teach you anyway. And, you know, so, I mean, that's good when God sends someone to really pour into us, to give us the voice that we never even knew that we had.
Yes. So we're going to stop here now. Our time is up for today, but we're going to come back next week to continue this journey with Temprest as she continues to share with us, as she moves in her this wonderful aunt of hers who is teaching her so many things, and we're going to hear where her journey takes her next. So make sure you tune in next week. And as parents, we do the best we can. But sometimes as parents, our best is not good enough for our children. But as Pastor Shamika said, God always has a ram in the bush. And that ram for Sister Temprest was her aunt. So whatever you do, please be inspired by the Word of God.
And be informed.
And whatever you do, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. All right, see you next week. God bless.
God bless.
God bless. So that was something that we actually.
Why?
Well, I know when I was with my aunt, I remember a baby crying, and I was walking by, you know, and I'll never forget that the daycare worker was pinching the baby because she couldn't get the baby to be quiet. And I thought to myself, if I have kids, they're not going to the daycare, you know. So that's why. And then with me having to have dealt with sexual abuse, you know, I just didn't trust people with my children. You know, I wanted to make sure I was there for them all the time with anything that they needed, because, you know, they're young at the time. They couldn't tell me, oh, somebody did this or someone touched me. So therefore I felt like I had to be their protector.
So with your husband, I mean, with your ex, I mean, there's a pattern. So you're at home all day. He's, you know, out in the street doing his thing. So when he comes home, what are your expectations? Did you know, okay, if I say this, it's gonna go into something else if I do this. So what was it like for you day in and day out, walking on eggshells?
It was, yeah, I was gonna say it was definitely walking on eggshells because you never knew his temperament, you never knew his mood. It would go from high to low. It was just, you just never knew. So sometimes I would have to learn how to approach him, learn how to say certain things to him, talk to him in a certain way, because I knew he could get upset easily. And sometimes it would be over the smallest thing, like, oh, we have a bill due. Do you want to go ahead and pay it now? That could easily turn into an altercation because maybe he felt I was pressuring him about paying a bill, or, it just depended on the situation. But it was definitely walking on eggshells and I couldn't be me. I couldn't be me. That's all it boiled down to. I couldn't be me. I had to be someone different. And it's like he wanted someone different. So I tried to be that person, and it wouldn't always go that way. I'm goofy. I like to laugh. And I couldn't be that. He didn't like that, He would always say, you're always being immature or silly, or, and that was just me, bubbly, happy, but I had to change that. I suppressed it.